What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are doing another Superflex. This is the German Shepherd, $5 entry, 20 entry max. We're drafting from the 7th spot, so we'll be looking at Daniels or Burrow or Chase or one of these guys. Not so much Jalen Hurts, but we are off and running. This is Superflex, so you'll notice the ADP is completely whack as opposed to a traditional draft. And that's because in Superflex, quarterbacks are super important. You probably already know by now. And I will say, these rooms on Underdog are very, very quarterback hungry. You typically see 8 QBs off in the first round, another 6 to 7 off before the end of the first part of round 3 here, and then by the time you're done with round 3, you're typically 18 to 20 quarterbacks off the board total. So Allen, Jackson go, so probably looking at Gibbs and Robinson here, but we may see some. Wow. Okay, Caleb Williams didn't pull all the way up to the 3 spot here. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. If we wind up in this weird spot where we get Robinson back here, I guess I'm taking him. Here you've still got Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Joe Burrow, so you still have these 3 arguably easy starting QB1s. There is kind of a tier break off that I have after Burrow that begins with Williams. I kind of have Williams there, and then Herbert, and then Prescott, and I have kind of Hurts down there with Prescott. Okay, so we're not put to a weird decision because Robinson and Gibbs goes. We will have the option of May, Daniels, or Burrow. I don't have much Daniels this year at all. I've got Burrow and May considerable amount, so given that, we'll take Jaden Daniels here. Yep, and be fine with it. At the 18 pick, I think we will look to grab another quarterback if we still have like Dart in that range or Mahomes or Purdy. I think I'd like Dart there the best, but I think we will look to stack quarterback twice here, going with the Daniels in the first round. Puka Nakua off the board here. In the 8, St. Brown in the 9. Wow. Nakua sometimes goes above Chase, but you very rarely see St. Brown go above Chase. Burrow. So Chase is going to fall all the way down here to 11. There's no way Chase is getting out of here, because if it does, we're going to allow this player right here to stack Burrow and Chase, which would be absolutely wild. Okay, good. I don't think we want to let anybody have that in this lobby. Chase Gentry goes to the 12 players, so the 12 players are going to maybe look to go 0 QB, or maybe look to grab 2 middling QBs or lower end QBs here. Love seeing all of this sort of positional value go off for the start that we're looking for. I mean, Justin Herbert probably won't fall, but I'd love to have him. I guess Trevor Lawrence is okay too. I will absolutely take Justin Herbert if he gets here. Goff goes above Herbert. I think the Nakua player is probably going to take Herbert. If not, we get a gift, and we are off and running. They take McCaffrey. Wow. So I love this start. Absolutely love the start of Daniels Herbert. I tend to be, in my redraft leagues, I tend to be this guy. This Chase Gentry, Nakua McCaffrey guy. And I just say, okay, I'm going to grab 2 QBs in rounds 3, 4, 5. But the leads, my redraft leads, are not this quarterback heavy. First of all, they're 10-man leads, not 12-man leads, so there's that. But they're not this quarterback hungry through the first 2 rounds. Like, this is just an abnormal amount. And we saw some real crazy pull-ups here. Williams coming up here. Goff going ahead of Herbert. Prescott going ahead of Herbert as well. Lawrence is technically, I think, above ADP for Herbert. So is Mahomes. So Mahomes is going to drop here to the Gibbs player if they want them, which they do. And then I think probably at 31, the consideration for us would be Shug here. I'm super high on him this year. I think we learned in our last draft, though, that there's such good positional value here at 31 that maybe we just hang our hat on Daniels Herbert and say we're going to play the game where if they get hurt, we're not winning this league anyway, and not grab a third third QB in here and really just start to stack positional advantage. Because the reality is, especially with the way ADP goes here, we're probably looking at like an Omarion Hampton in this range, maybe a Derrick Henry, maybe a Saquon Barkley, And that's all obscene value to get after starting with these two QBs, right? We're at 31 spot. So, like, all of these guys are absolutely in play. Barkley'd have to fall a couple. So I think we don't pass the running back value there. I mean, there's also good receiving value here too with CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So we're not stacked on either of those fronts though. So all right, so the Allen player ends up getting Purdy and Nix. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Jackson player got Cook. Williams player went with Dart. Jackson player does Cook and Lamb. The Williams player, so they're deciding, with Jackson, they're going to wait on their assets. That's fine. Uh, Caleb Williams, Jackson Dart player does Barkley. I like that. Gibbs and Mahomes could still get like a Stafford in here. Goes with Jefferson. Okay, Bijan Robinson and then Smith and Jigba could pick up like a Kyler Murray or a Stafford here if they want them. They may choose to continue to punt though on QB. So we'll see how they go there. So they picked up Jordan Love there. Okay, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence. Do you want your third QB? They're still great. I mean, with Stafford and Mayfield on the board here, it is really hard to pass. But I think, again, with the positional value we're going to be looking at, Mayfield goes. So we could grab a Stafford. We could pull up a Shug. I think I'm just going to go with Amari and Hampton and pair him up with Justin Herbert and have the correlation there and feel pretty good about it. And at 42, Shug probably won't fall. But if we really want to grab another quarterback, we could get like a Stroud. The only thing about that is that at that point, we also could be looking at like a Chase Brown if he falls, and I'm gonna have a hard time not grabbing him. Okay, so the St. Brown player who picks up Goff on the way back just grabs Shug here. Be interesting to see if they kind of try to pull up Olave. Olave's ADP is way lower in here though, and he's down at 61, so that he might be able to get Olave, down here. In fact, he will. So we see another run on QB here. So maybe this is going to be the start where we just bet on Daniels and Herbert. Maybe we take a Mariota in like the last round and just not have a third quarterback, and just be okay with that, right? Like just say, okay, like for this team to win, these two guys got to stay healthy and perform at or above their ADP. Now I will say I did this again. Both their bye weeks are week 7, so I guess our team is taking the week off. If Chase Brown falls here, I'm going to be shocked and very impressed. I think Brown's probably going to go to the Brown player here, but I'd love to take him. I guess there's also Kenneth Walker. We'd also have Bowers, London, AJ Brown. We could look to take London and take the Atlanta backfield. Okay, Brissett goes there. Take the AJ Brown goes. So I'm just going to take Chase Brown and have Chase Brown, Amari, and Hampton, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, and feel really good about that. As far as the stacking options we're looking at, right, we have plenty. We are going to be looking at Lad McConkey and Terry McLaurin. And both of these guys, we're going to see right in range, right? So they're 74 and 79 respectively. And we are going to be looking at 66 and 79. So we could grab both of them potentially here, which is opens us up in 55 to go with another running back should one fall that we like, which, I mean, at this point, with the running back value still on, I mean, there's a world where we get Cam, maybe Javonte Williams falls. There'd also be a really nice wide receiver value there, but I think after going Daniels Herbert, I'd like just going 1, 2, 3 running back if we can get a running back in here that we still value very highly. So the running backs fell considerably because there was such thick quarterback sort of taking going on through here. So I mean, just look at how many quarterbacks, right? You have 7 in the first round, another 7 in the second round, and 8 in the third round. So, you're 20, basic math here, you're 22 quarterbacks off the board by the end of the third round. Yeah, pretty crazy. I don't think it's worth it to grab one of these quarterbacks. They're all just okay. Had we gone London back here, we might want to consider the Atlanta backfield, but I don't think so. I think we just get our next running back here. We'll have Etienne, Williams, Javonte. We could bring Stadabo up, which I'm super big on. I got so much Javonte Williams. I don't have as much Kyron Williams. I think I'm just going to grab him just for a little bit of balance here. I've got a ton of Javonte. Now, here's the thing. If we wheel around here at 66 and, right, we're staring at Statabo or Javante or one of these guys falling, that's a consideration. That absolutely is. As far as our tight ends go that stack, I guess it's Datsun and Chig, but we could also look to grab an elite tight end in this range if we wanted. When I say elite, I'm talking, I guess not elite, but second tier. Loveland's still on the board too, but the Williams player is over here. The Williams player took McBride, weirdly enough. So going through five, you did have the one spot and the six spot go triple QB, as well as the 10 spot go triple QB. Well, Team 9 didn't go triple QB. They did go triple QB on 2 through 5, not 1 through 3. They did go. We opted to just go with two QBs. I love our running back room. We don't have any wide receivers yet, but again, we're going to get these guys on ADP down here, which is crazy again because we're still the Statabudos. It makes me feel better. But the question is, do we really want to reach on Lad McConkey or McLaurin here when we still have like Rice and Neighbors and Olave? And I think the answer is no. I think we grab one of these guys up top here and really feel good about it. So we could take Loveland here. I think I'm just going to take Rashi Rice and start my wide receiver room like this. And then on the way back through at 79, we should see McLaurin. McConkey might fall. If he doesn't, that's okay. There's also, in this range, there's Ibuka, Mike Evans. Again, there's also like a Bashal Tootin down there. So something to consider. But I think we're going to want one of our wide receivers there. I wouldn't mind taking a fourth running back either. And again, I guess maybe we're just going to shoot our shot on these two guys. Maybe grab like a Mariota super late. I don't even know who Herbert's backup quarterback is. That's, I guess, something that would be good to know. Trey Lance. Okay. But I think that it's not unknown that in these drafts, um, getting your backup is not going to win you the money. Just so you can have somebody play in, like things have to work out for you in these best ball drafts. So we're saying, okay, Daniels Herbert, you're going to stay injury free, and you're going to draft at or above your 80. You're going to play at or above your ADP. And if we do that, then we actually stand a chance. So at 79, you do see Neighbors, Higgins, Flowers, McConkey go off here. So we're probably still looking at McLaurin. I'm actually really happy to have him should he get back to us. Tootin probably won't wheel around, but we'll still be looking at like Tony Pollard or Chuba Hubbard if we want them as our fourth running back, and I'm okay with that, especially because we have Rice, and I know we don't have him paired, but he's a great receiving asset in that range, and we're going to pair him up hopefully with McLaurin here. I don't have a ton of McLaurin this year, and now would be the time to have him for sure. All right, he does Bucky Irving great, so we'll get McLaurin basically at ADP here, and then grab one of these running backs on the way back round should they fall. Um, the Hertz Murray player, that's Taylor Achane, Javante Williams, and Josh Jacobs. So they opt for the same sort of thing we're doing, except I like our quarterbacks a lot better, and we actually have receivers to boot. And Hampton, Brown, Williams versus Taylor, Achane, Williams. I think I like that backfield better, but I like our quarterbacks better. And Hampton, I think, could finish above Taylor. Brown could finish above Achane, and I think Williams is about even. Actually, I have Williams finishing above Kyron this year, most likely. So, all right, pricing toot and go. No big. That's obvious. You know, honestly, after starting Chase Genty to follow it up with Stroud, Willis, and Tua, I just think they're so far behind. Even though they do have Nico Collins and Swift and Adunze, I think they're just too far behind at quarterback over here. Uh, Even Lamar Jackson, Bryce Young, like if you're just gonna do two, get two good ones like we did, right? I just think that's the way to go. Otherwise, you kind of do need to look to grab three. Okay, I think I want one of the running backs here over the receivers. The receivers are good, but I think I'm going to go with Tony Pollard if he falls, which he does. And I'm kind of like happy to have him. I think he's probably going to keep that backfield going for a while. On the way back around here at 103. We'll still see some running back value. We might get like a Dotto who falls, or an RJ Harvey. I'm not super high on Corn, but you guys know I like J.K. Dobbins, so there's that. Um, we're not going to look to draft pennants or anything. There is Tucker Craft in that range, so I will keep an eye out on that. And there is Pitts coming back around, whom I do like as well. So we would be behind at wide receiver, but I think we're cool with that. Where's Quentin Johnson? He's not off the board yet. His ADP is 120. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull him out just so I don't miss him. We'd have to pull him up here at 114. I could be okay with that. So we'll see what we get at 103. 103, maybe pull Dobbins up there, and then if Tucker Craft falls, I think he'd be at the top of our list. I think 103, maybe Dobbins, and then maybe look to pull um, Quentin Johnson up from there. I don't mind getting my fifth running back in here over Mercy or Kraft goes. That's fine. 114. Pitts is 113, so he could fall, but we wouldn't get Pitts and Johnson. I think Pitts is pretty good this year, and I always do this where I wind up with just a ton of trash tight ends because I don't pull them up and other people do. So want to try to prevent that. Where's Chig? Where is getting Chiggy with it? He's at 150. Okay, I say this, we should have plenty of time, but it's always the way this goes. RJ Harvey off the board with to Stevenson, Gibbs, he's done with Holmes, Jones, Smith, Jefferson, Pickens. Okay, Dowdle off the board. Am I just going to wind up with J.K. Dobbins again? Probably, because I just have a ton of Dobbins, and that's just how it goes. I just keep getting him in this range because I just think he's got the highest upside of the guys in this range. I'm so overweight on J.K. Dobbins, it's ridiculous. All right, in the turnaround, maybe I will pull up Pitts. Although Johnson would be really nice to grab here at one. We'd be pulling him up about 6 slots. But maybe we'll do that. We'll see. Then we'd be back on the board at 127, 138. And we won't get a Pitts, but we could get a Chig in there. And I don't know who else is down there. Maybe like an Andrews. Yeah. Got a lot of Kincaid this year too, but I like Likely also. So we could look to grab. If we don't get Kyle Pitts here, we go ahead and just grab Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson might go off the board though. The sort of the nobody everybody knows about that now. Okay, so look at this from the 11th spot. Hurts and Murray. He goes Taylor, Achane, Williams, Jacobs, Tootin, right? Then grabs Penix. Interesting. Lots of running backs. Okay quarterbacks, I suppose. Only one receiver. It's interesting. It's interesting. Burrow, Prescott, Darnold does get Henry, Stadabo, and Price, as well as Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed in front of Nico Collins? I missed that. I am super confused by this pick. That might be a mistake or knows something we don't know. Pairs him up with Sam Darnold, thinks he's going to be Sam Darnold's like, but I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on there. That is a crazy pick, but all good. All right, we're back on the board. Of all these guys, I think I am going to take Johnson. I want the pairing. We are pulling him up, but um, we'll get a couple of these tight ends on the way around, and I'm okay with that. Also okay with the wide receivers, and I feel pretty good at running back now with Hampton, Brown, Williams, Pollard, and Dobbins. And yes, we do need more receivers, but you only start two, not three. So because of that, you can get away with doing what we're doing here and going a little bit lighter on receiver and going a little bit heavier in the other directions. Where does Gatson go off the board? Gatson goes off at 155, so he's way down there. I say this, but again, all the tight ends that pulled off the board, so they never seem to get drafted at their ADP. So I don't know how they have these ADPs when they all go off earlier. Um, but we should get Gatson down there. So coming back around, we should be totally okay to like grab like a Likely or an Andrews and then a Chig, right? I mean, we should be more than okay. And then down here, we could probably grab Gatson because Chid and Gatson have the same um, ADP. And there is a lot of wide receiver value. So maybe we punt out on Andrews, grab one of these wide receivers, any one of them, doesn't matter, and then grab one tight end on the way out and one tight end on the way back. I think that works, especially after this run right here. But we need another receiver. There's so many good ones, and we are going to take. I think we can take Mariota right at the very end of the draft. I think we're totally okay with doing that. Sutton, Worthy. I mean, yeah, but there's still so many good receivers on the board here. Pittman, we'll take one of these guys, assuredly. Golden. Do we have an affinity over of any of these guys over the next one? I guess Addison. I like Addison the best, right? I think we have a fair amount of all these guys, so we'll take Jordan Addison. That's fine. Now we'll grab tight end on the way out, heading back out, and then we'll grab Chid or Gatson on the way back through. Um, Here at 138. We actually no on the way out. Sorry, excuse me. Here at 151. So we'll grab um, two tight ends. But I mean, again, there's still such good wide receiver value here. There's some good running backs too. But I like our running back room, and I think we're going to get fine running back value later on. So Andrews off the board. Ferguson. I think if Likely is there, I'm going to take him. Downs was off the board. Pittman and Godwin are the end of the tier for me here. Parasol, I guess, is kind of in there to a lesser degree. But I think Likely is actually likely to be a pretty big part of Dart's offense this year, or stands a pretty good chance to be. So give you some good weeks, and we'll take them. And then we'll get Chid or Gatson here at 151. Probably not both, but if we do, cool. If we don't, I mean, damn, Godwin is still on the board at one. Oh man, how do I pass Godwin here? I don't think I can. I think I've got to take. If Godwin doesn't, man, 124 ADP fell all the way down. You know what? We're just going to take the falling ADP. I didn't think Godwin would be available. I was going to take Likely there, but that's fine. Again, this is why I always end up punting on tight end. This is why, because there's just value seems to fall. Everybody else is pulling these tight ends up. We will grab one of our stacking pieces. I feel very comfortable and confident in that. Um, we'll also throw Hunter Henry in there. I don't want to completely ignore tight end because I have been doing that and really think that that's been the weakest part of my draft. So I definitely want to get a few. But right now, our team construction is Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, Amarian Hampton, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, Rashi Rice, Terry McLaurin, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin. I mean, this team is stacked. This team is so stacked for a super flex. I really like it. Think we're in good shape. Um, yeah. Can't believe we got the Godwin fall. All the way down here, we took 138, average draft position 124. Feeling right about that. Concepcion, Parasol, go. Most of these teams have two tight ends, so we're okay. Bowers, Loveland. So Allen, Purdy, Nix, then goes Bowers, London, Loveland, McMillan, grabs Warren, Gainwell, and White as their only running back. So they're so far behind at running back. It's not even funny. I don't think that this works. In this format, I don't think this works. You got to start two of these guys every week. Um, I mean, if they were going to do something like this, they would have been better to take a Barkley up here and then a Young here. Again, trading up into some depth and picking up a third running back. You only start two of these guys. So our team is going to be shut on week 7. We're going to be missing Daniels, Herbert, Hampton, McLaurin, and Quentin Johnson, all missing on week 7. Potentially one of our tight ends as well. So I think we'll pick up Chid first. I don't think Gatson will, but I don't have a ton of Chid. I do have a fair amount of Gatson. Um, Woody Mertz does. Fannin Kincaid doesn't want Chid or Conkwell. I don't think. I think we do. They don't. So hopefully this pals here. passes. You still got decent players on the board. Okay, Chig Wheels. Thank you. Hiddens. All right, 162. We will take any of these tight ends. I'm okay with any of these tight ends, just so we don't have to pile stack crap at the end. And then we'll grab a fine set of running backs and wide receivers on the way out. But this will at least allow us to have a little bit of serviceable depth at tight end. Even past Hunter Henry, you still have Sadiq and Hawkinson and Schultz. I just want to ensure I get one of these guys. Um, yeah, so I'm not fooling around with nonsense there at the end of the draft, like I always seem to be. For late stacking options, Trey Harris for Herbert, pretty much. Antonio Williams, I suppose, for Daniels. All right. I don't have any exposure to him, though, I think, at all. Johnson, Strange, Henry. So some of the tight ends, though, Gatson might fall, though. And then I guess the other thing we could take is Njoku much, much later if we wanted to. But this team only has Juwan Johnson. Stacked with Shard, that's good. And this team has Ferguson. So I guess either of these guys could pull up Aronde Gatson should they want to. Neither chooses to. So we get both of our tight ends stacked with our quarterbacks. Feeling pretty good about that. We probably want two more running backs, two more receivers, another tight end, and then a Mariota maybe in the very last round. So that to be said, we are drafting again in the 175 range. If you look down here at 175, we may get a Dylan Sampson to fall, but more than likely we'll be looking at like Tucker or Kamara. I'm okay with either of those guys. Trey Tucker, Jawan Jennings, and Flournoy's in the same round. And then when we come back around at 186, Trey Harris is in that range. Antonio Williams is in that range, of which I have zero. Um, yeah, Bray Davis, I think, is a great running back to have. I guess maybe we should grab Singleton because we've got Pollard. So just make sure we stack that backfield. Spears is already off the board, right? Thursday Spears, yeah, he's already off. Right? Yeah, cool. I have a ton of Jonah Coleman. I don't need any more of him, that's for sure. Oh yeah, Spears goes off right here. I guess we could have taken him there, but I'm okay with this. Um, yeah, so we'll take two more running backs. We'll take two more wide receivers. We'll take one more tight end, and I guess Mariota at like the very end, the very last round. All right. Hawkinson off the board. Brian Robinson off the board. Is that the Bijan player? I don't think it is. No, it's the Williams player. So the Gibbs player wound up with Stevenson and Harvey and Chris Rodriguez. Don't love it. Mahomes, Jones, Smith. Don't love that back room either. They've got Jefferson and Pickens, but I don't think that saves them from as weak as the rest of their team is. So both the Gibbs and the Robinson player, I think, failed to be able to land the plane. And I found the same thing drafting Gibbs and Robinson in this format is that it just is really hard to be in love with your construction when you pass up on quarterback up there. It just is really tough. So we're gonna take yeah, we'll take Sean Tucker. I've got a lot of him, but feels pretty good to have a lot of him because I just think he's going to score a lot of touchdowns. So, uh, I guess as far as we still need another, what, two receivers? One more running back, two receivers. I guess Singleton's at what, 194? Let's see. Yeah, probably won't get him there. That's okay. Yeah, we could pull him up. I'm happy with my wide receiver room. We'll add a couple more, but I'm happy with these guys on a week to week basis. Um, yeah, maybe there's like a Gunnar Helm here. If he falls, we could consider that, and then just be done with tight end there. We could grab Njoku late. I mean, we've talked about that a couple of times. What would be our alternative here? Is like grabbing one of these guys. I don't know about that. I don't think I really care. So we'll see. If yeah, Notre Dame doesn't fall, that's fine. Yeah, I don't really care. Like these are all the same guy. So we're gonna get one more. If we do take another running back, I think Singleton's fine. He's 194, so we're gonna pull him up. I guess that's okay. Like, because again, these are all the same dude back here. Like, I'm not losing value by not taking Ray Davis or Kate Otten or one of these guys. Like, it doesn't matter. Um, I just feel very confident that all these guys are relatively the same. So we'll grab Singleton. And then Trey Harris probably won't fall, but maybe Antonio Williams does. He tends to not to take it. So maybe one of those guys does. If not, we're finished up with running back, a couple more wide receivers, one more tight end. So down here, um, Julian Hurst and Dustin Joko would be fine if we want to take him as the other tight end to consideration. We're only picking up tight ends and wide receivers now, though, so that's kind of the land we find ourselves in. I'm just browsing these late round wide receivers, thinking, do I care or want any of these guys? The answer is not really to most of them. Um, I don't see a ton of interest in any of these guys. So we'll see what wheels, but I don't really care. Mariota, we're going to go last. I do not really give a darn. So we got four more picks. We're going to take two more wide receivers, one more tight end, and one more quarterback, and we'll do 3-7-7-3. If we're looking out across the landscape here, I think I think the Gibbs and Robinson player both struggled. Um, Williams, Dart, went Barkley, McBride, Devontae Smith, Higgins, Henderson, Hubbard. So their backfield just isn't as strong as it could be. And they did get a back. They're kind of doing the same thing we're doing, which is taking a flyer quarterback late, but they kind of struggled. Um, Allen Purdy Knicks, their backfield is trash. So unfortunately, I don't think they balanced out right after grabbing Bowers and Loveland, but maybe that's just the plan. Um, yeah, so a little more disparity here. The Rashid Shaheed pick is wild to me. Burrow, Prescott, Darnold, Henry. Then they take Rashid Shaheed. Then they take Stadabu Price. They went right back on the rails after taking Rashid Shaheed. I just don't understand that. But honestly, again, we are banking on Daniels and Herbert here, 100%. But I like where we stand. Oh, Ted Hurst went. That's fine. Again, down here, he was probably the highest rated that I had anyway. Um, I don't care about any. These guys are all the same. So we'll probably do now another receiver. Then I'll grab Njoku and Mariota here. So we'll grab another receiver here at 210. Um, Wicks is fine. Dell is fine. Not taking Ayuk. Don't want Cooper Cup. Pat Bryant, Darnell Mooney. I've got plenty of these guys. I have a lot of all these guys. Is there anybody we want to shoot our shot on a little bit more than somebody else? Not really. Honestly, not really. I guess we'll lead Washington if he falls here. Oh, Njoku went. Who's taking David Njoku there? That's wild. Okay, tight end wise, are there any of these guys? We don't really want any of these guys. I guess we'll try to take like a Terrence Ferguson here. Is he top ADP right now? That's weird to me. All right. So at least at least Gatson and Okonkwo are stacked. So there is that. But wow. Njoku, Gesicki, Kelsey. Not stacked. Yeah, not in love with the 12 spot. Not in love with the 11 spot either. Hurts and Murray are just meh. And then you've got Taylor, Achan, Williams. This is great. And then the rest of this team is just not constructed out very well, I don't think. I think grabbing all five of your running backs and then never touching the position again is weird. I think you want to balance. Um, that's just my personal take. Some tier one guys, some tier two guys, some tier three guys, some tier four guys. And that's the way to do it. We've gotten to the Mac Jones portion of our programming. We'll take Ferguson here. I just don't care. It doesn't matter. 223 because Ferguson goes. My goodness. All right, I guess we're taking take Evan Engram. I don't. Does it really matter? You know what? No, let's take Knox. I know this is probably not the right pick, but I don't care. We'll take Knox there. Malik Washington's so far past ADP right now. It's kind of funny, but whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll grab whoever at 223. Let's go ahead and pull up some receivers and just stick them in there. So 223, who are we looking at? Pat Bryant, Mooney, Surratt. Those are all fine, and we'll take Mariota in the last round. Yeah, seems good to me. So our team wound up Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, Amarian Hampton, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, Sean Tucker, Nicholas Singleton, Rashi Rice, Terry McLaurin, Quentin Johnson, Jordan Addison, Chris Godwin, Ted Hurst, Okonkwo, Gatson, and Knox at tight end. So pretty good overall. Again, we're shooting our shot with the double elite QB at the top, and then just saying, hey, for this team to win, these guys got to stay healthy anyway. We're not bothering trying to pick up the Rogers or Mendozas of the world, and that's okay. I think that's totally a strategy. Again, because if one of these guys goes down, having Mendoza probably does not save this team to win the money. So rather pick up all the positional advantages you can to make sure that if this team stays healthy and does it, then you have the highest chance of actually winning the whole thing. Yes, Justin Fields to be a consideration at the end there too. I don't know how healthy Mahomes is going to be. I mean, everything from camp is saying he is going to be healthy and ready to go. Man, I have so much of Surratt and Mooney. You know what? Let's take Troy Franklin. I just have so much of all these guys, and then we'll just pick up one of these quarterbacks here at the end. I know that's slightly off brand because of what we were just saying, but I think it made sense. Just for the last pick in the draft, I think Anthony Richardson's down here. One of these guys where they're the main guy could get hurt, and these guys could put up a showing um, that would be completely serviceable just to carry through if it's this. Again, our team is going to shut down on week 7. We're missing both of our quarterbacks. We're missing our number one running back. We're not going to have two of our top receivers, and we're missing all of our tight ends, but that's okay. It's totally okay. It's like that sometimes, and we did not draft around it intentionally, so we wound up in it. It's the name of the game. I'll just snap off Mariota to handcuff Daniels here. That's fine. Well, I feel like of the upside, Fields has the highest upside playing for Kansas City. So there is that. Hmm. You know what? Let's grab Justin Fields. We'll do that. All right. We'll just throw him in there. A little bit of spice of life and be happy with the team. All right. Overall, pretty good. I think we wound up on the upper side of this lobby without knowing for sure. We did shoot our shot with double elite QB. We shored up our running back room very quickly. We got some nice receiving talent. Continue to stack out the running backs and wide receivers. Grabbed tight ends, some tight ends, and then got some positional value late. Picked up Justin Fields. Overall, very happy with it. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. Thank you for checking out the draft. If you liked it, please hit the like and subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.